So today's the topic is about surrogacy law. Okay. Okay. So why it is in news? Okay, recent days பார்த்தீங்க அப்படினா or 2-3 days back it was in news. Okay. So Supreme Court has reserved its verdict on petitions challenging Surrogacy Regulation Act 2021 and Assisted Reproductive Technology Act 2021. சரிங்களா? So ரெண்டு act Surrogacy Regulation Act. Okay, regulation under bracket. Okay. Surrogacy Regulation Act 2021, Assisted Reproductive Technology Act 2021. Okay, so both these acts are passed in 2021 and they became effective from 2022. ஓகேங்களா? so 2022 ல இருந்து இருக்கு. so இப்போ ஏன் இது நியூஸ்ல வந்திருக்கு 2022 ல தான இது எஃபெக்ட்டுக்கு வந்துச்சு அப்படினா so இத வந்து ஒரு 23 ல 24 ல சில அமெண்ட்மென்ட்ஸ் வந்து பண்ணிருப்பாங்க. ஓகேங்களா? so amendments are made in 23 and 24 and petitioners have challenged these amendments. ஓகேங்களா? so இந்த amendments வந்து சேலஞ்ச் பண்ணிருக்காங்க. அந்த சேலஞ்ச் பண்ண கேஸ் இருக்குது இல்லையா, அதோடைய verdict வந்து இப்போ ரிசர்வ் பண்ணி வச்சிருக்காங்க. ரிசர்வ் in the sense like for some period they have postponed it. okay, so இன்னும் கொஞ்ச நாள் கழிச்சு they will tell the result. ஓகேங்களா? so அதனால தான் அது நியூஸ்ல வந்து வந்துச்சு. ஓகே, so first இந்த ஆக்ட் என்ன, ஓகேங்களா, சரகசினா என்ன, so what are the provisions of this act, okay, then why they have challenged it in court. ஓகேங்களா? இது எல்லாத்தையுமே பார்க்கலாம். ஓகே, so first of all what is surrogacy? okay, surrogacy in the sense like a woman surrogate. ஓகேங்களா? a woman acts as a carrier. ஓகேங்களா? she will bear the child. okay, she will grow the child in her womb and she will give birth to the child but for some other one. ஓகேங்களா? வேற ஒருத்தவங்களுக்காக அவங்க வந்து குழந்தைய வளர்த்து, ஓகேங்க, குழந்தைய வந்து கேரி பண்ணி பிரெக்னென்ட் ஆகி கேரி பண்ணி அந்த குழந்தைய அந்த இன்டெண்டட் கப்பிளுக்கு வந்து கொடுத்துருவாங்க. ஓகே, that is surrogacy. okay, right. So the surrogacy is of two types. okay, so one is traditional surrogacy and another one is gestational surrogacy. okay, so traditional surrogacy means, see how a surrogacy happens, you have couple, your uterus alone is utilized. ஓகேங்களா? ரைட்டா? இதுதான் சரகசின்றது. வேற ஒருத்தவங்க வந்து கேரி பண்ணி குழந்தைய கேரி பண்றாங்க, இதுதான் மேட்டர். ஓகேங்களா? so in traditional surrogacy you have a surrogate mother. okay, surrogate will always be a mother இல்லையா? surrogate mother இருக்காங்க. so surrogacyக்கு you have intended couple. ஓகேங்களா? ஒரு couple இருக்காங்க. so you are going to use the intended parent. ஓகேங்களா? intended father's sperm, இவங்களோட sperm மட்டும். ஓகேவா? and you are going to take the egg of the surrogate mother. ஓகேங்களா? so உங்களுக்கு வந்து embryo எப்படி ஃபார்ம் ஆகுது, you need a egg and you need a sperm and they fuse and then they form zygote and the zygote develops into embryo and the embryo will develop into whole child. ஓகேங்களா? fetus-ஆ வந்து டெவலப் ஆகுது இல்லையா? ரைட். so இப்போ இதுக்கு வந்து ஒரு sperm தேவை, எக் தேவை. so இந்த ட்ரெடிஷனல் சரகசில you are going to use the surrogate mother's egg and intended couple's sperm. ஓகேங்களா? so intended couple mother உடைய egg நீங்க யூஸ் பண்றது இல்ல. okay, so you understand this is traditional surrogacy. ஓகேங்களா? but this process is very complicated because you are going to use the surrogate mother's egg. ஓகேங்களா? so surrogate's mother egg நீங்க யூஸ் பண்றப்போ she will also become a parent biologically. right? yes, so she will also become a biological parent in this case. so it leads to lot of complex, ஓகேங்களா, complications. ஓகேங்களா? because they will claim right. ஏன்னா என்னோட egg யூஸ் பண்ணிருக்கிறதுனால she will also what she will do, she will claim the right, parental right she will claim. ஓகேங்களா? so because of all these complications and she is genetically and psychologically connected to the child. okay, so in case அவங்க வந்துட்டு legal claim வைக்கலைனாலும் கூட அந்த குழந்தை அவங்க கிட்ட இருந்து பிரிக்கிறப்ப she has to undergo lot of trauma. okay, so all because of all these complications your traditional surrogacy law is banned in India. okay, so traditional surrogacy lawன்றது இந்தியால கிடையாது. ஓகேங்களா? ரைட். So next one, gestational surrogacy law. So what is gestational? Okay, so this is like partial. Okay, so same, you have surrogate mother. Okay, and you have intended couple, and you're going to use the egg and sperm of intended couple. Okay, so in this method you use artificial insemination. You're going to use only the sperm. Okay, so in this method you're going to use artificial insemination. Okay, okay, sperm vantu artificial insemination மூலமா vantu inject பண்ணுவாங்க. Okay, and in this case you see egg and sperm, they are from the intended couple. Okay, they will be fertilized under in vitro conditions. Okay, in vitro fertilization means egg and sperm எடுத்து lab conditionsல fuse பண்ணி zygote develop பண்ணி embryo-வா வச்சிருப்பாங்க. Okay, so the embryo is created by in vitro fertilization. Okay, so now this embryo is going to be injected into the surrogate's mother's uterus. Okay, so only uterus is used here. Okay, so uterus mattumna, there is no biological or genetical connection between the mother and the child. Okay, so this is known as gestational surrogacy, and only gestational surrogacy is allowed. Okay, இந்த மாதிரி மட்டும் தான் பண்ண முடியும். Okay, this is one kind of surrogacy, and another type you have based upon the how you are spending money. Okay, so finance பொறுத்து you have one more type. Okay, that is commercial surrogacy and altruistic surrogacy. Commercial surrogacy, altruistic surrogacy. Okay, so commercial surrogacy, from the name itself you can get it right. Commercial, so you are doing for profits. Okay, so generally வந்துட்டு உங்களுக்கு pregnancy அப்ப உங்களுக்கு extra expenses என்னெல்லாம் ஆகும், the medical coverage. ஓகேங்களா, then delivery ஆகிற expenses, then food for the mother. Okay, nutrients supplements, medications, இது எல்லாத்துக்கும் நம்மளுக்கு extra expenses ஆகும் இல்லையா. So apart from that, ஓகேங்களா, so medical expenses and other related expenses regarding your pregnancy. ஓகேங்களா, இதை தவிர்த்து you are going to give some rewards. Okay, for example, you are giving 10 lakhs, 12 lakhs apart from the medical expenses. Okay, that comes under commercial. So you are doing it for profit, you are doing it for money. Okay, so that comes under your commercial surrogacy. Okay, so medical expenses, other related to pregnancy. Okay, even this also includes insurance also. Okay, and altruistic surrogacy, there is no rewards, no financial compensation. Okay, there is no financial compensation, only medical expenses related to pregnancy. Okay, so medical expense related to pregnancy, medications, delivery and everything. Okay, but it is only related to pregnancy. Okay, then apart from that, the intended couple, they must have to give insurance coverage. Insurance is must in this. Okay, mandatory for 36 months. For 36 months. Okay, you understand? So இதே தான் இங்கேயும், பட் என்ன அப்படின்னா financial compensation இங்கே கிடையாது altruisticல, and altruistic surgery only is allowed in India. Okay, so now we'll see about the provisions. Okay, so the provisions of surrogacy act. ஓகேங்களா, so நம்ம ரெண்டு ஆக்ட் கொடுத்தோம் இல்லையா, அந்த ஆக்ட்ல வந்துட்டு நம்மளுக்கு இருக்கக்கூடிய provisions என்னன்னு பார்ப்போம். Okay, so first one is only altruistic surgery. Okay, there is a ban on commercial surgery. Okay, then second thing is eligibility criteria. Eligibility criteria, we have to see eligibility criteria for two people. Okay, one is the intended couple and other one is surrogate. Okay, so இவங்க ரெண்டு பேருக்குமே eligibility criteria இருக்கு. Okay, so intended couple, they need to be a married couple. Okay, in the sense unmarried couple, same sex couples, or single women or single men. Okay, they can't opt for surrogacy. Okay, even single men, if they are divorced or they have been separated or whatever case it is, single men are not allowed. Okay, right? So only married couple is allowed in this case. Okay, then age For male it is 26 to 55 and for female it is 23 to 50. Okay, so for male couple, for a couple, male 26 to 55 and 23 to 50 for women. Okay, so in the age group la irukra couple alone only can opt for pregnancy, I mean surrogacy. Okay, yes, then there shouldn't be any they should be medically certified. ஓகேங்களா, ஸோ மெடிக்கலி அவங்க வந்துட்டு ஏதாவது ஒரு கண்டிஷன் இருக்கணும். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் தே கான்ட் பியர் த சைல்டு. ஓகேங்களா, சம் ரீசன் ஷுட் பி தேர். மெடிக்கல் கண்டிஷன்ஸ் இருக்கணும், அவங்க ஏன் அவங்களால குழந்தை வந்துட்டு பெற்றுக்க முடியாதுன்றதுக்கான ரீசன்ஸ் ஷுட் பி தேர். ஓகேங்களா, ஒன்லி இஃப் இட் இஸ் தேர் தே ஆர் ஃபிட் டு அண்டர்கோ சரகசி. ஓகேங்களா, ரைட். தென் நெக்ஸ்ட், இன் கேஸ் ஆஃப் medically fit, then one more thing is they should not have an existing child. Okay, they should not have an existing child. That should be their first child. Okay, la only child. Okay, so if they have, like, they should not have even biological child or surrogate child, okay, or even adopted child. So எந்த childமே existing la இருக்க கூடாது. ஓகேங்களா, so in case if they have a child, that child should be medically or physically challenged, or the child should be having some disorders. ஓகேங்களா, so சீக்கிரமா இறந்துருவாங்க, இந்த மாதிரி disorders இருக்கு இல்லையா, அந்த மாதிரி disorders இருக்கணும். ஓகேங்களா, only under these three conditions the surrogacy can be undertaken. ஓகேங்களா, right. So all these conditions is there. Then apart from that, if single women, okay, single women can opt for surrogacy. We said single men are not allowed. ஓகேங்களா, single women, இந்த இடத்துல single womenன்றது either they have to be divorced or widowed. ஓகேங்களா, so marriage undergone பண்ணி divorced-ஆ இருக்கணும் இல்ல widowவா இருக்கணும். ஓகேங்களா, அப்படினா மட்டும்தான் they can undergo this. okay, and இவங்களோட ஏஜ் வந்து 35 to 45. okay, so single women age should be between 35 to 45. okay, so these are the conditions for intended parents. okay, and when you come to surrogacy, so here also the surrogate mother should be married. ஓகேங்களா, unmarried women cannot undergo surrogacy. okay, confirm அவங்க வந்து மேரிடா இருக்கணும், and at least she should have at least one child. okay, so she should have at least one child prior to undergoing surrogacy. okay, and the age must be between 25 to 35. 25 to 35, right. Then she should also be medically fit. okay, she should be mentally, physically fit. okay, psychologically she should be fit to undergo this. okay, and one more thing is only once. okay, so a surrogate mother should undergo surrogacy only once in her whole lifetime. ஓகேங்களா, இப்போ ஒரு உமனுக்கு ஒரே ஒரு சான்ஸ் தான். ஓகே, and that too only 3 attempts per surrogacy. ஓகேங்களா, ஸோ அட்டெம்ப்ட் வந்துட்டு எல்லா டைமே அந்த இன்விட்ரோ ஃபெர்டிலைசேஷன் அவங்க இன்சர்ட் பண்ணுறது சக்ஸஸ்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும்னு சொல்ல முடியாது இல்லையா. ஸோ 3 attempts தான் அவங்க பண்ண முடியும். that too only one surrogacy her whole lifetime. ஓகேங்களா, and apart from that she should not use her own egg. ஓகேங்களா, ஸோ அவங்க ஓன் எக்கை யூஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க. ஓன் எக்கை அவங்க யூஸ் பண்ணாங்கன்னா வாட் டைப் ஆஃப் சரகசி இட் வில் பிகம்? ட்ரெடிஷ்னல் சரகசி. ஓகே, ஸோ தீஸ் ஆர் த எலிஜிபிலிட்டி criteria. okay, then under this law it also brought a regulatory framework. okay, national assisted reproductive technology, national assisted reproductive technology and surrogacy board. assisted reproductive technology and surrogacy board. okay, it has been established to overlook all these processes. okay, okay, then if they are going to do this surrogacy, okay, they need to get permission from the court. ஓகேங்களா, so the court needs to establish the parentage and custody. ஓகேங்களா, so you have surrogate mother, you will always get into this parental claim issues இல்லையா ஸோ அதனால தெளிவாக என்ன பண்ணணும் ஃபர்ஸ்டே அவங்க வந்துட்டு கன்சர்ன் கொடுக்கணும் ஓகேங்களா ஸோ the couple has to give the consent that they will become the legal parent of the child and surrogate mother will not involve in this okay right so she will not claim right அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு the court need to establish that ஓகேங்களா so the court need to establish the parentage and custody only then the process can be started itself ஓகேங்களா so before this surrogacy process court need to establish that okay okay then insurance is mandatory as we said already 36 month insurance coverage should be there ஓகேங்களா right so குழந்தை பிறந்ததும் அப்படியே அவங்களை விட்டுட்டு போகாம கம்ப்ளீட்டா அந்த 36 months வந்துட்டு அவங்கள பாத்துக்கறணும் ஓகேங்களா இன்சூரன்ஸ் கவரேஜ் வந்துட்டு அவங்களுக்கு இருக்கணும் ஓகேங்களா so these are all the provisions in your surrogacy bill okay act okay right next what are the challenges so what are the key challenges anything you think challenges in this bill I mean act sorry no that is like a whole surrogacy process itself but they need to undergo because that is what they are opting to right so they need to undergo one more condition is when you are undergoing the surrogacy the surrogate no they should be a relative to your intended parents okay so when this 2021 bill was passed the surrogate has to be relative close relative to intended couple okay then after that they have amended that and they said like anyone who is willing but they need to give a willing consent to the court okay or your district headquarters okay so adukku apparama da they can undergo surrogacy okayla so we are trying as much as we can to prevent exploitation okayla so yen the traditional surrogacy nama pannala appadina to prevent exploitation of women okayla commercial pannalana to prevent that okay right then you see challenges is that the category okay you see single men are not involved in this okayla same sex couples are not involved in this okay so in these cases okayla so if they are arguing that your right to equality is affected in this okayla right okay right to equality is affected in this and then second thing is I said that they have made amendments right so first you will see the amendments so amendments were made in 2023 and 24 so in 2023 what they have amended is the intended couple should not use donor gamete okay so donor gamete in the sense you have egg and sperm illaya so these are known as gametes okay gametic cells gametes okay so these they should not borrow a donor gamete ஓகேங்களா இப்போ intended couple இருக்காங்க ஓகேங்களா mother and father இருக்காங்க அப்படினா father உடைய sperm மட்டும் யூஸ் பண்ணிட்டு உங்களுக்கு வந்து mother உடைய donor egg வந்து டோனரா எடுக்கிறதோ இல்ல maximum the case father's donor only they will take okay so father உடைய sperm வந்து டோனரா எடுத்துக்கிறது see it is like you are engineering the child இல்லையா you are not supposed to do those things இல்லையா நமக்கு விருப்பப்பட்ட மாதிரியான ஒருத்தங்களுடைய sperm வந்து உள்ள வச்சு you are intending for it okay like you're like what designing the child இல்லையா so அந்த மாதிரி பண்ண கூடாதுன்றதுக்காக they brought this okay so no donor gametes are used okay so this was brought in 2023 and 2024 this was challenged in court actually okayங்களா so இந்த டோனரை யூஸ் பண்ண கூடாதுன்றது ஏன் கோர்ட்ல சேலஞ்ச் பண்ணாங்கன்னா like if what if some couple okay in some couples like one parent have some medical issues okay so idla nama ஏற்கனவே சொல்லிருந்தோம் they should have some medical issue so that they need to undergo the surrogacy அப்படினு சொல்லிட்டு so what if their egg or sperm itself medically unfit what if they are biologically they are not fit okayங்களா so adu illa or they have genetic diseases okayங்களா so in the cases la irunduchu அப்படினா then they need to borrow a donor right so in that case they should the court should accept it okay so அதனால court மே என்ன பண்ணிருப்பாங்க அப்படினா at least one donor வந்து இருக்கணும்னு சொல்லிருப்பாங்க so 2024 amendment they actually they allowed for one parent okay either one okayங்களா so கண்டிப்பா one parent so one of the parents has to be the biological father or mother okayங்களா biologically அவங்க கண்டிப்பா இருக்கணும் Okay, so either one should be donor, one donor and one should be the couple's gametes. ஓகேங்களா அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ரூல்ஸ் கொண்டு வந்திருப்பாங்க. ஓகே, so what if like both the parents are medically unfit, both of them have some medical issues in their reproductive cells, அப்படின்னா என்ன பண்றது? Okay, this makes a question mark, right? So this is also questioned. Okay, this was challenged in court. Okay, and the other thing is this act acts retrospective. See, when they bought it in 2022 and this was amendments are bought in 22 and 23. Okay, so people have already those who have started this in vitro fertilization process. It's a very long process, right? Or surrogacy process. Now they are affected by this amendment. Okay, so suppose we imagine like see before this law like donor is not allowed in irukku illaya, so அந்த amendment கொண்டு வரதுக்கு முன்னாடி someone has started this in vitro fertilization. Okay, they have used donor because like mother or father is biologically unfit னு வெச்சுக்கலாம் medically. ஓகேங்களா, so அப்ப அவங்க வந்து இந்த மாதிரி donor யூஸ் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. அப்ப இப்ப என்ன பண்றாங்க, the act will continuously affect for them also இல்லையா, so அவங்களுக்கும் அது அப்ளை ஆகும்னு சொல்லிட்டாங்க. ஓகேங்களா, so that is known as a retrospective. ஓகேங்களா, retrospective application. Okay, so retrospective in the sense like you have started a process earlier itself, but that law for example you started the process in 2022. Okay, the law was passed in 2023, but still it applies to old, okay, past actions also, then that is known as retrospective. Okay, something that is attached to a past. Okay, that is retrospective. And usually when you are reading this article you will notice a name called grandfather class. Okay, so the grandfather class means this law doesn't have grandfather class. Okay, they were arguing in court for that also. Okay, so first one is retrospective application, then grandfather class. So both are related only. Okay, so grandfather laws means the same, you have started the process earlier but the act was passed in 2023, then you can go on with the existing old process itself. ஓகேங்களா, ஸோ உங்களுக்கு வந்து இந்த லா பாஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு முன்னாடியே நீங்கள் ஒரு விஷயத்த ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிட்டீங்கன்னா அந்த லா அமெண்டிங் பண்ணதில் எதுவுமே உங்களை அஃபெக்ட் பண்ணாது, பழைய லா படி நீங்கள் அந்த ப்ராசஸை முடிச்சுக்கலாம். ஓகேங்களா, ஆப்போசிட் ரெட்ரோஸ்பெக்டிவ். ஓகேங்களா, தட் இஸ் நோன் அஸ் கிராண்ட்ஃபாதர் கிளாஸ். ஓகே, ஸோ திஸ் லா டசன்ட் ஹேவ் எனி கிராண்ட்ஃபாதர் கிளாஸ், தட் இஸ் ஆல்சோ சேலஞ்ச் இன் கோர்ட். ஓகேங்களா, ஸோ மேஜராக கோர்ட்டில் சேலஞ்ச் பண்ணது என்ன அப்படின்னா, ஸோ திஸ் ஒன் ஆர்டிகல் 14 இஸ் சேலஞ்ச்டு, தென் திஸ் ரெட்ரோஸ்பெக்டிவ் அப்ளிகேஷன். ஓகே, தென் ஆப்சன்ஸ் ஆஃப் grandfather class, yeah, absence of that clause was also challenged in the court. Okay, then apart from that the approval process. You see, the approval process is a very lengthy process. Okay, so that one is like a challenge in the process. Okay, then next one is restricting age. Okay, so the age group, no, like only 25 to 35, 55. Okay, this restricting age group is also a bit complicated. Okay, very strict application is there, you have to reduce that. Okay, they are asking for that also. Then your approval process is very long process. Okay, then this surrogacy law, no, it will not allow your foreigners to do surrogacy in India. Okay, only Indian married couples are allowed. Okay, so OCI, okay, overseas citizens of India. Okay, they have a lineage in, or connections to India. Okay, so earlier they used to undergo surrogacy here, but after this law they can't go. Okay, so this also barring OCI to undergo surrogacy in India. Okay, then apart from that there is no conciliation policies. Okay, we have said like the mother should not claim anything, but in case if there is a conflict then there is no conciliation. Conciliation in the sense சமாதானப்படுத்தி போறதுன்னு சொல்றோம் இல்லையா. Okay, like compromise. Okay, there is no such a facility regarding this. Okay, that is one more thing. And apart from that the mother is undergoing lot of trauma, right? She said so the mother needs to come out of that. Okay, long term effects will be there on the mother. Okay, there is no proper supporting mechanism for the long term effects of mother. Okay, or postpartum effects whatever she is undergoing, there is no support for that. Only support they have is what? medical insurance will be there. Okay, what about their mental effects? Okay, there is no proper counseling. Okay, no support regarding the conditions regarding that in the law. Okay, so these are the negatives. Okay, you got it. So we have seen what is surrogacy and the provisions of surrogacy, and we saw 2 acts. Okay, adodiya provisions fulla paathom. Then what are the challenges regarding that? Okay, clear? Right. So thank you.